It is mailbag time here at the Cleveland Browns Report. I'm Matthew Peterson, and this is the part of the show where I answer your guys' questions. Put out a mailbag call about a week ago, but we had so much news and rumors going on this week, just didn't get a chance to get to it. So let's get to the first question here, coming in from a dirty cheater. Jose Altuve, the Astros shortstop. I had no idea you're such a big Browns fan, but he asks, will an upgrade at QB be enough to mask all the glaring issues on offense, or can it upgrade to the receiving core, such as bringing in a more athletic and skilled wide receiver and tight end that could stretch out the field, help Baker out to take that next step in his development? A couple of thoughts on this question, and I'll answer in just a moment. But we also had another question that basically asked the same thing, but I figure I might as well just give him some screen time as well. Muddy Fork Productions asks, is it a quarterback issue or a wide receiving core issue? And then he kind of goes on to say similar things that Jose asked. So let's just combine these two questions into one. And I think it boils down to this. Do you replace Baker Mayfield, or do you improve his supporting cast and build around him and get him better targets and wide receivers and tight ends? And don't even say running backs, because he's got the best running backs in the NFL. There's a couple ways to tackle this question, but before I do, I want to let you guys in and give you a chance to answer the question. Do you think Baker will have a bounce-back season? He needs to. We all should be rooting for that. I understand, and to a degree, why a lot of you guys are out on Baker. I don't think you're crazy for saying that, but at the end of the day, we're all happier if the Browns are winning, and the Browns are going to win if they have a good quarterback. So let's all root for a good quarterback. Step one, though, for answering the question about replacing Baker, like an upgrade. What's a better realistic option, or who's a better realistic option? I don't think you're going to find one in the draft. I really don't. I don't think picking a quarterback at 13 is going to bring in someone who's a better quarterback than Baker. Maybe I'm going to be proven wrong, and this will be like a Patrick Mahomes draft, and how do we all miss this guy? But I probably will be for saying that, but I just don't like this quarterback draft class that much. And then you look at the trade options here and some potential trade targets, and two things come to mind. One, Andrew Berry said, Baker's our quarterback. So we can look at these names, and we can talk about these names, but I don't think any of them are going to end up playing on the Cleveland Browns next season. So I would not set your sights on it. Then the other thing is, how realistic are any of these names? Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Derek Carr, maybe, right? But then you have to accept you have to deny the fact the Browns said we're going to roll with Baker Mayfield. Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, that's kind of fantasy land. I don't see either of them wanting to play in Cleveland. Now, let's go the different route. Let's say the Browns want to support Baker Mayfield and look to boost him up in the NFL draft. Well, here are 5 top draft targets that I think the Browns could get from a wide receiver standpoint at the 13th overall pick. Garrett Wilson is probably my favorite, but the more I think about it, the more I realize I'm going to change my take on this as the weeks progress and I watch more and more highlight tapes of these guys, because Jameson Williams is the best of the bunch. So don't let an ACL tear derail you. This is not the 70s where old athletes go, I blew out my knee and that was that. Dude, we've got really good doctors these days. Okay, and torn ACL is not what it used to be. I like Jameson Williams the most. I would love to see him on the Browns because he was going to be a top 10 pick. And just because he tears his ACL, you're out on him. Boo-hoo. There's a lot of great players who got injured in college, and you'd be surprised about how quickly they put that behind them when they got to the pros. But I also understand there are some players who were injured in college and then took that with them into the NFL. But that's why I think you should build a supporting cast, okay? You should invest in Baker Mayfield, because here's the reason why. Let's say you draft a wide receiver in the first round, and then you go out and get a better tight end or bring back David Njoku, and then Baker doesn't work out, okay? Now the next quarterback that comes in steps into a pretty good situation. He's got a good, talented sophomore, second, third-year wide receiver. Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt at running back, okay? A lot of the pieces then are around him. Kind of reminds me of the Denver Broncos a little bit, okay? That they're a very complete team. They just need a quarterback. And so if Baker doesn't work out, then the next offseason, after Baker's 5th year is up, you can go out and probably be the kings of the castle in terms of teams that have everything but the quarterback, which makes them a very attractive destination for quarterbacks, because every single offseason will have a bit of a quarterback carousel between trades and free agency. So why not pose yourself to be the number one destination for a quarterback, or better yet, Draft a wide receiver, Baker has a bounce back year, and you don't have to worry about that whole conversation. If you want to be on the next mailbag show, all you got to do is subscribe. All right, hit that big red button. Just go down there, hit that big red button. And then if you want to get a question answered by me, use hashtag Browns in the comments section. I can't guarantee we'll have a mailbag show in the next couple days, but I can guarantee if you subscribe and use hashtag Browns, ask a question, I'll answer it, as soon as I get to it. Next question comes in from Charles Cummings Sr. If you were the GM, stop it. What changes would you make to the coaching staff, the offense and the defense? Plus, what would you continue to let the head? Continue to let the head coach call plays? So, first things first, let's address Kevin Stefanski in that question and would I let him continue to call plays? Yes, I would. I think you get 3 strikes in baseball. I think you get 2 strikes in the NFL. You've got strike 1 after last season in terms of poor play calling and decision making at times. You also have a NFL Coach of the Year in your back pocket, so maybe that cancels out a little bit to give you some extra breathing room and some time to recover. But if Kevin Stefanski has two straight losing seasons, yeah, he'll be kind of on the hot seat, and his play calling will probably be the first to go. That way he can deflect blame elsewhere. Second, changes I would make. I got a couple changes that I would do, kind of addressing what you said from the coaching staff, the offense, or the defense. If I was the GM, first thing I would do is, on the coaching side, no changes yet. I wouldn't be getting rid of AVP. I would keep Joe Woods, keep Stefanski. You don't want to come back from next year and install new coaching staffs and make it more confusing for players. You always talk about Baker Mayfield or quarterbacks have had this many offensive coordinators in their years. Baker Mayfield's already been through 3, 4, can't even count head coaches. So, no, I would not change the coaching staff much at all. On offense, I'd get an F it wide receiver. And what is that? That's the guy that Joe Burrow once said, F it, Jamar Chase is down there somewhere. I want that kind of guy. I want somewhere where Baker can just go, screw it. I honestly just played backyard football and tossed it up, and he went up and got it for me. On defense, I would draft a defensive tackle within the first 3, maybe 4 rounds. You're losing both Maliks most likely this offseason to free agency, Malik Jackson and McDowell. So you got to replace them on the front, and I would do it in the draft. I would look to get someone. If it's not going to be Jordan Davis in the first round, then you look in the second or third round to try and get a new front presence on that defensive line. Let's say you guys are the GM, though. Let's put the hat on your head now. What changes would you make as the GM? Curious what you guys have to say. I think we all love playing quarterback, armchair coach, armchair GM. Let me know what you guys would do if you were the general manager. Next question is, should we draft an offensive O-line guard? I think an offensive lineman at the guard spot. No, I'm sorry, David, but you just paid your front 3 guys, right, between Teller, Petonio, and Treader, a lot of money in extension. So, no, I would not draft an offensive lineman in this upcoming draft, at least early. I don't think it can ever hurt to have good depth at any spot, but I don't think that's a big target or need this offseason. Probably put it a little bit on the back burner. We'll get to more of this in just a moment, but our sportsbook partner, BetUS, has a great deal going on, okay? When you go to chatsports.com/bet and you enter the promo code, Browns, right there, 125, they give you a 125% deposit bonus. A lot you can gamble on. You want to gamble on the Cavs? No problem. They've got NBA, NHL, NFL. They've got everything basically under the sun. And you can even bet on the playoffs this weekend. Look at the divisional round here. Look at some of the odds going on. Personally, I am falling in love, deeper and deeper in love with the Niners +6. It's a lot of points for a team that just beat the crap out of Dallas, basically. And I like the Bills +2. Those are my 2 favorite picks. Let me know what yours are in the comment section below. But make all your bets over at BetUS. Get locked up all year long with our proud sportsbook partner. Wrapping up that final question, though, from David, talking about the Browns should draft an offensive guard. No, but I think here are some different positions that they could and should pursue in the draft and free agency. Their biggest needs, wide receiver. No doubt about that. And then after that, in the draft, I would look at just the best player available. The Browns are in a unique-ish spot where they underperformed this year, but they still have a lot of talent on this roster. So what does that mean exactly? That means if you're in the second round, you're like, well, we don't have a glaring need. We don't have a major hole. we just picked this person in the first round so we can back off that position. Let's go out and get the best player available because you never know when injuries are going to happen, contracts end. Just go out and get a baller. Get someone just good at football, all right? And that way, when you have, that way they can rise up and just kind of take over a position. After that, though, defensive tackle and linebacker are kind of 1 and 1A, pretty interchangeable. Haven't seen much of a presence on that defensive line, at least interior, in a little bit of time now, just mainly this past season. And linebacker, you haven't had a household linebacker name in a while. I want to see JOK take those steps and be that big presence and be kind of a figurehead on the defense for the Browns with Myles Garrett. Why don't you give him a buddy, someone to hang out and play with in the linebacker room? All right, next question. Edward Gaines. Why has Rashard Higgins constantly been underused and undermined in the passing game? This spans several head coaches too. Is it a disciplinary issue? Good question, Edward. Appreciate you, Edward, because I always see you commenting on videos too, by the way. I take tabs. I'm not smart enough or important enough to know why Higgins gets kind of cast away at times. He was a healthy scratch at some point this past season. Maybe some ask, is it because he doesn't contribute enough on special teams to make it worthwhile to have him suit up? There's more going on, and I think you have to be in the locker room to know, and I don't know. But I wish he was a bigger part of the passing game because we've seen at times he can be a very reliable wide receiver 2, 3, 4. So I wish he was, but he's a free agent, and I don't think he's going to be coming back next year. J.R. Swish with the next question. Not that I think it will happen, but if AVP gets fired, what are some offensive coordinator options? So he's talking about Alex Van Pelt, the OC for the Browns. Here are some potential replacements, but I agree, he's not getting fired. You don't fire an offensive coordinator who doesn't call plays, okay? That doesn't solve many issues on offense. So that'd be a bit of a coward's move, in my opinion, by Stefanski if he canned a guy who just drinks Diet Cokes in the press box and calls out things he sees. But if I had to, I got 2 internal options. Chad O'Shea, he's the passing game coordinator, has been there for a couple of years now, not too long though, but got a good decorative history, and it's a good internal option, so why not rise him up? Stump Mitchell is the run game coordinator, also came over, I think, 3 years ago now. So 2 internal options right there. Good decorative pass with both of them as well. Have lots of experience in the NFL and have worked in some great offenses. And Chad O'Shea was the offensive coordinator with the Dolphins 1 year, so he's been in that spot before. Those are 2 internal options. External, Luke Getsy, he's the quarterback coach. He's been getting some head coaching interviews, this coaching carousel. So if he doesn't get a head coaching gig, and maybe, the Browns, for whatever reason, do move on from AVP, then yeah, I think it would make sense to give him an offensive coordinator role. It's kind of the next step for him anyway. Ken Dorsey is the quarterback coach in Buffalo. Not only has he been there and an instrumental part of Josh Allen's rising, but he was also the quarterback coach in Carolina with Cam Newton. So he did some pretty good stuff there. And then finally, I put the Ravens running back coach, Craig Versteg, mostly because teams love to poach coaches from divisional rivals because they see them twice a year, so they know a bit about them. And then I put him there because the Ravens always have a good running game. And even this year, when they lost their top 2, 3 running backs in the preseason, they were still one of the best running games in the NFL. So those are 5 potential replacements. Wrap up the show. I want to ask you guys this. Last video, I said, hey, who's your favorite Cleveland Browns player? Got tons of great responses. Now we're going to switch it up a little bit. Who's the most underappreciated Browns player? Make you think a little bit. Sound off in the comment section. Who do you think is just not getting enough love that they deservingly should get? We'll catch you later here on the Browns Report.